So, Alan, tell me about the inspiration for your podcast.
Well, we live in Tijuana, San Diego, which is the most cross-border in the world. There's a lot of amazing and fascinating and inspiring stories here. The story of the border is obviously covered a lot in the news, but you don't very often get to hear from the people who really live it on a daily basis. And I think those people deserve to be heard.
So what are some of the stories that listeners can look forward to hearing in the coming weeks?
Yeah, there's really a lot of fascinating stories, as you can imagine here. The border is a very dynamic region. One example is there's a community in Sherman Heights who keeps their Mexican culture and the Mexican roots alive by celebrating Dia de los Muertos. There's a couple in Rosarito who grows these marigold flowers, which are very traditional in Dia de los Muertos. And you know the struggles they face getting them across the border, and people wanting to connect with their roots and not being able to necessarily even hug their family. That's an example of one of the stories.
And how often is the podcast going to come out?
The podcast comes out every 2 weeks on Wednesdays. Podcast Wednesdays.
So there are 3 episodes that are available to download today. Can you help introduce the first one for us?
Yeah, the first one is about Beto Soto, who is a photographer, grew up here in San Diego, completely undocumented and gay, and he wasn't able to talk to anyone about that growing up. And that experience, as you can imagine, was heavy, but instead of letting that bring him down, he used that as fuel to create a platform called UndocuQueer to document the experiences of people like him, the LGBTQ community that lives in San Diego and is also undocumented, and it's honestly very inspiring.
Beto is openly gay now, but he didn't come out until a few years ago.
It all just came out like vomit, and I'm like, oh my God, this is not how I pictured my coming out. I wanted a party. I wanted a cute rainbow flags, and you know what I mean? But it wasn't that way, and it had to happen in order to keep me safe. You know, I think if I wouldn't have done that, I would have probably fallen into a dark place and not followed my, goals and ambitions.
So the border in music and art isn't just a podcast for you, it's actually your life.
It is, yeah. I just got here from Tijuana. I cross it almost every day. Pretty much all the work I do is geared towards cultivating a cross-border conversation. I'm in a band called Tu Lengua, which is a bilingual, members from both sides of the border kind of thing. And yeah, it's the life I live.
Sounds like a really interesting story. Well, I've been speaking with Alan Lilienthal, host of the new KPBS podcast. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.